Just a quick question. Why aren't you on the transplant list?
The answer to this question isn't always cut and dry. Sometimes there's some patients that are in dialysis centers that are new to dialysis, they get on dialysis, and they don't realize that they aren't on a transplant list. They're just sitting in them chairs, not realizing that nothing's coming to them. And they're under the impression that, oh, well, I'm just going to do this for a little bit. They're going to give me a transplant. They're going to give me a kidney, and then I'm going to just go back to living a normal life. But there's things that you have to do. And if patients don't realize that they have to get in contact with a transplant center, they have to get a workup done, they have to go to a seminar, they have to interact with a transplant center in some kind of way, then nothing's going to happen. In my case, when I first initially got on dialysis, I was on dialysis for a while, right? And I was asking about transplant. I had a doctor, and I don't want to say his name because I don't want to get sued, but he would actively try to work against me and prevent me from getting the information that I need to get a transplant. He would constantly try to hammer home this idea of me staying positive and getting accustomed to my new normal in my new life. It was always that. Well, you just need to get used to your new normal and get used to your new life. Now, I lean heavily into it being a race thing. I don't know where his headspace was at. I don't know if he was privy to information that I wasn't privy to. Maybe he looked at me and thought to himself, this guy's never going to get a transplant ever because of whatever his reasoning was. But it got to a point where I had to get so pissed off at this guy and demand that he give me the information that I needed in order to get on a transplant list, because the dialysis center wasn't helping me. The nurses weren't helping me. The social worker wasn't helping me. I had to demand that they give me the information, and then the rest was up to me. I did all the legwork. I made the appointments. I went to the workup labs. I scheduled them. I did everything. I got myself put on the transplant list. They didn't help me at all. They were passive observers as I was doing this. And eventually, I just was on the list. I got myself on the list. And when they would ask me, they'll ask you, hey, are you on the list? And if you, depending on what your answer is, they're going to be like, maybe you should consider getting on the transplant list. And they'll walk off. The techs, the nurses, and they'll walk off to their desk and text on their phone or laugh and joke with their other coworkers or whatever. They don't care. They're not going to be like, oh, well, maybe you should talk to the social worker. Hold on, if you're really that interested in getting on a transplant list, let me get the social worker over here the next time the nephrologist is in. I'll let them know that you're interested in this. There was none of that. It was negative, zero interest in helping me with this. And sometimes it just comes down to race. People, some people, not everyone, I'm not going to generalize, but you have some people in the dialysis centers that are of a certain demographic, and they look at you and they feel like you're here because you ate too much fried chicken, or you drank too much malt liquor, or you did too much drugs, or whatever the case may be, whatever stereotypes they buy into based off of social media, familial, generational hate that's passed down from generation to generation, whatever the case may be. So they look at you and they feel like you don't deserve it. And they'll look at you and they'll look at other patients in relation to you, and they're like, well, these patients deserve this more than you do. They look at members of their own demographic and it's like, well, I don't want you to get it. I want this person to get it because we speak the same language. We look the same. We have the same kind of humor. We're from the same province, village, whatever, city, state, whatever. And there's this idea that, oh, well, if we give it to somebody that looks like you, you're just going to piss it away just like you did before, without ever asking you the dynamics or the scenario as to why you're sitting in that chair in the first place. Well, on top of a lack of knowledge, with not realizing that just because you're at a dialysis center doesn't mean that you're on a transplant list. Patients don't do their due diligence. Sometimes patients aren't on the transplant list because they're just not doing the things that they're supposed to do. They're not finding out which transplant centers are close to them, which transplant centers are in proximity to them. They're not calling them up. They're not telling them they're interested. They're not making demands. They're not being active participants in their own care in order to get these things accomplished for them to get on the transplant list. I've said this before. You got to be an active participant in your own care. You can't just leave it up to somebody else to do, because if they don't care about you as much as you care about yourself, or as much as other people around you care about you, then nothing's going to get done.